Hey there, guys and gals, YouTube world. Hopefully you're doing outstanding. Hey, make sure you stick around this video. I'm going to try to keep it not too long. I'm going to share something personal later in the video. That's my hook, to try to keep you. You're going to learn something personal about me, something I'm going to go through both today and tomorrow. Okay. Anyway, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, not an attorney, not a CPA. That's my little disclaimer. I'm just mazske. Anyway, how's your life going? And the reason I ask that is life is chaotic, isn't it? Lots of stuff is going on, but yet at the same time, we all live our own lives, and people get caught up in the hype of the world. And just a few little things I've seen in the last few days. Pedestrian deaths on the roadways are up. And even locally, just in the past week where I live at, in the city I live in, it's not that big, 200,000 people roughly. 2 pedestrians have been killed. It's like, what in the world? You know, there's been multiple car accidents. There's a fatality just a couple blocks away from where I live at, just yesterday, day before. And it's just crazy. When I worked as a cop, car accidents were out of control in the small city I worked in. I'm in a larger area, and car accidents every single day, and they're getting worse. Like, I'm in a city. The city I worked in, there were usually fender benders. Here, people in Florida drive crazy. People come from all over the country. You have a combination of senior citizens. You have a combination of young families with children. You have a combination of everything else. I watched a clip the other day. It was a police officer who works the fatal car crash division. And she said that looking at stats over the past couple of years, fatalities and near fatalities and super bad crashes, the age range, the bulk of those crashes, the age range was age 20 to 39. So youngsters, slow down. Speed kills, just like stress kills. Speed kills, stress kills, okay? So with life, be mellow, be calm, slow it down when driving. Try to help someone else, all right? Try to help someone else. I'm gonna show you a book, okay? This is a book that was mailed to me a month or 2 or 3 ago. Let's see if you can see it. I think you can probably see it. Profiles in Canine Courage, A.L. Krugel. That's Alan Krugel. That dog right there is Serpico. Serpico, I had the opportunity to meet Serpico. There's a picture of me up on that wall right there in uniform with Serpico and Alan. Alan's a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in years though, but when I was behind literacy events, I had authors attend from around the world. I met, 1,000 different writers perhaps. Some big names, some little names, some names you'll never hear of. Alan came from California. I was in Virginia. Every time he came, he brought a dog with him. First year, he brought Serpico. It's hard to tell in the picture with Serpico. And the picture on the wall there, you can't really tell in that picture either. I got my hand on Serpico's back. I think I was scratching his head. But Serpico had 3 legs. The reason he had 3 legs, he was a canine for LAPD and was shot in the line of duty protecting his handler and shot in the shoulder or somewhere in that leg, front leg, and they had to amputate. When they amputated, took it off, he healed up, but he had to retire from police work. And what happens is the dog whisperer, Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, he has a quote on the back of the book. I think he got him and trained him. And then Alan adopts traumatized dogs. So he adopted Serpico, took him in. And Alan, over the couple years he had continued to book different dogs he brought. He brought Tommy and Lita, I think. One was a cadaver dog and was in New York City for 9/11 looking for bodies. The other dog was a bomb dog. Serpico was a drug dog. Okay, so different kind of canines. And the reason I just showing this to you, I found it kind of cool. Alan sent it to me, and he told me that he used me loosely in the book as a model for the police officer. Police officer doesn't look like me. Well, I guess who knows? We're all human beings. We all look like. So, but that's one picture, if you can see that. And that police officer's in a school. talking to kids. Alan had been with me. I used to go in schools a lot and talk to young people. Alan brought Serpico with him into the school. Yes, because that picture there, we're in a school with that picture of Serpico. I had different authors go into schools with me. I had Jonathan Queen. Google Jonathan Queen. Jonathan Queen spent a decade in federal prison. I think maybe 20 years, 10 years, 20 years, I forget. Went to prison as a young man. He was a drug dealer up in Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania, and did it for several years, fathered 4 or 5 different children. He was an African-American male, and because he'll tell, if you see him, you'll see that, and he'll tell you that, and he was following as he says, his peer group. Just that's how it was. When you're growing up like he did, you do the same as everyone else does. So he was a drug dealer. And he got arrested by the feds. And he tells a story about he had one of his children with him, one of his sons, sleeping on the floor on a mattress, on the floor, like a lot of people do. Can't afford bed frames, I guess. And the door busted down. Police came storming in like they do, SWAT team. And his young kid, who was like 2 or 3 years old, whatever, 4 years old, jumped up, was scared, and ran across the room to where Dad was, I guess. And Jonathan says he saw the light, the laser from the police officer's gun following his kid. And he said he screamed, "No, it's me, it's me, it's me." No, not the kid. And no one got shot. Jonathan got arrested, got convicted, went to federal prison. He said when he got to federal prison, he was an angry man. He was stocky, he's buff, and an angry young man. And he said that he got in a lot of fights because he had to prove himself. But then he was in the hole because he got put in the hole quite a bit. And they let him talk to one of his daughters. And his daughter had done something in school. And he said that broke him. He said he started crying. That broke him because he realized, what have I done with my life? What am I doing? And he said he started studying. Prisons have GED programs. He got his GED. He started teaching a GED class. He started taking college classes and getting books in and doing different things. And then he started studying religion, became an ordained minister. I think he got ordained after he got out, but he started the process while he was in. And by the time he got out, he was in the prison, from what he told me. When I met Jonathan, it was the 2nd or 3rd or 4th year of my literacy event called Book 'em. And at the event, historically, it's one race that attends it. Okay, I'm honest with what I say. It's the white people that attended it. I had books. It was just how it was. Jonathan is a black male. He came to the event wearing a suit and tie. Spent the day there. So I noticed him. I was busy. I'm running around because I organized the event, so I'm busy. But I saw him different times walking around. He approached me later in the day, and I'm tired, and asked if he could talk to me. And he told me a story, kind of like I relayed to you. And very nice guy, very nice guy. We became friends. So I got Jonathan lined up to go into schools. And we were attending one school one day in a different jurisdiction where I worked at. And I was in my cruiser. And Jonathan had jokingly said something to me about, "Hey, you ought to put your lights on sometime." So I said, "All right, I know a spot I'll do it where there'll be a deserted street, and you'll be behind me," because he's going to follow me. I had to take him to the school. I guess he didn't have GPS back then. So as we were going down, I flipped my lights on, and he was behind me, and I had my cruiser flip my lights on, and kind of led him for a ways, and went to the school. So anyway, when he got up on stage in the school, I was up there with him. He was talking about the definition of insanity. Insanity is kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again when it's the wrong thing, and you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you don't learn from your mistakes. That's insanity. But he told a story about how the officer led him with police lights on in front of him, not behind him, pulling him over. And he talked about life changing from when he was young to he was probably late 30s, 40-ish at that time. Okay? And that's life. That's life. So anyway, I didn't mean to talk about that. I go off on tangents sometimes. So I told you I'd share something with you. You've heard me, this channel, I talk about financial stuff, but I also have a goal to talk about life stories. I know a lot of folks out there, you might be growing up without dads, without moms, without a support group, and sometimes you might look towards YouTube just for guidance, just for something. I don't know. I don't know you. It's 284 subscribers. And there's always On any given video, there's 25 to 30% of people who watch are not subscribers. So do me a favor, click the thumbs up. That helps. Subscribe, share, comment, etc., etc. Try to help me out if you can. All right, so anyway, I mentioned before having being stressed out when I evicted my first tenant. When that happened, I was 49 years old. And during that whole process, I was at work. And as a police officer, I wear a gun belt, a leather gun belt. And I'm not a big guy. I was even skinnier when I was working. I gained a little weight after I retired. And so anyway, I noticed one day, every time I moved, got in and out of my vehicle, that belt was hurting. It was hurting. It wasn't normal. And I was like, something's wrong. So I called the doctor up. Made an appointment. They got me in there the next day, and they did the whole laying down, pushing on me, and they got to that one spot. Whoa! I grimaced. I was like, whoa, what was that? So the doctor, diagnosed me with diverticulitis just by that pressure. And they said it's infected. So they gave me medication to kill off the infection. And then they said to schedule a colonoscopy like 2-3 months later because you got to let the infection completely heal up. So when I had the colonoscopy, and I was 49 years old, pushing 50, they heavily sedate you. I don't know if you've ever had this done. Depends on your age. They heavily sedate you. And here, let me back up just a minute. They're talking about moving these tests down to age 45. People are dying younger and younger from colon cancer. All right? Don't be embarrassed by this. People are dying. Black Panther, was that who it is? Chadwick Boseman, I think that's his name. 42 years old, famous actor. Was in quite a few movies. Made big bucks. Dead. In his 40s. Colon cancer. All right, it's happening to people younger and younger. Get screened. Get the test. Get the basic non-invasive test. Get the colonoscopy. Do whatever you got to do. Because when I was 49, I went through this. After it was over with, they gave me a report. The doctor told me a couple things. He said, you didn't have diverticulitis. Diverticulitis is when you puncture your intestine. He goes, you didn't have that. It wasn't that. You have, he thinks, an ulcer in one of my intestines. Like a stress ulcer. See? Stress. Stress will kill you. But they also snipped off 2 polyps. Okay, you can Google that. Polyps, Polyps, I think it is. Snipped off 2. If I had never had that colonoscopy, and I never did at all, those polyps may or may not turn into colon cancer. I don't know. And they don't know, it may be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Yeah, who knows? It's your body. Who knows? So anyway, when you get polyps snipped off, if you're an average person, you have no polyps, and you get it done, your colonoscopy done when you're 50, you're rescheduled again 10 years later. Or they tell you 10 years from now, when you're 60, you get another one. Okay? When you have polyps snipped off, you're higher risk. So they reschedule it 5 years. That 5 years is coming about. So, and I got another issue going on, a digestive issue. Not a swallowing issue per se, but it's a digestive type issue. So they're going to do the double whammy. And it's being done tomorrow. I'm on a liquid diet today. I hate this. I graze every day. I eat some cashews, I eat some nuts, I eat some yogurt, I eat this, I eat that. Never a whole lot at one time, but I just graze throughout the day. And I drink my green tea and other stuff. So today is liquid only. Tonight comes the fun part. I get to purge myself, basically. All right, and tomorrow they do the double whammy, what's that word? Endoscopic? They're putting a tube down my throat, checking things out in there, my esophagus, and et cetera, et cetera. They put another tube up into your intestines, and they have little cameras on this. And I asked the doctor about this. I said, whoa, it's kind of fascinating to me. The human body just fascinates me. So I said, with these 2 tubes going in, can they kind of meet? They're done one at a time. They're not done simultaneously, one at a time. But can they meet in the middle? Do you basically, they cover the whole gamut there? And he said, no. There's like 9 inches of skinny little tubing in the middle of your body between like your stomach and your upper intestine or whatever it is, somewhere in there. And he said, if for those few people that have that problem in that area, what they do is they give you something to swallow. a little tiny pill or something that's a microscopic camera. And it passes through your system, and I guess you collect it, hopefully I never have to have that done, and they can view the camera, okay? So in my case, tomorrow, there's just 2 cameras, one coming down, one going up. They're done, I think, one right after the other. I won't remember it. I think what happens is they heavily sedate me. I'll have no memory of it. But yet I can be responsive. If they tell me roll over, if they tell me open your mouth, I believe I will roll over or I will open my mouth. Or if they tell me move your arm, I think I'll move my arm. Like, my brain is hearing and can respond, but I don't, to my knowledge, feel anything or remember anything. And I'll remember afterwards. I've had that happen a couple times. My last colonoscopy was the second time in my life. First time in my life, I was 17 years old. I had my wisdom teeth, they were impacted, which means they were coming in sideways. And the doctor told me I didn't want to be put to sleep. And the doctor said, I have to put you to sleep. And I said, no, you don't. You're just taking out wisdom teeth, just numb it. And he said, one is they're impacted, and I think on the one side I'm going to dig into the bone, chip the bone to get it out. He goes, you want to be asleep. And I said, okay. So I remember, because he put me to sleep. You don't remember when you go to sleep. Does this thing, and I start waking up when they're pulling stuff out of my mouth, because there's 3 wisdom teeth. I didn't have 4, I had 3. And I remember the doctor telling me, well, he told me this in the, whatever you call that room at the end of, I forget the term. He told me after this when I was clear-headed. But I remember laying there, the 2 nurses were there, and they're like, can you stand up? I said, sure. I hop up and literally just start falling over. And they start laughing and catch me. And I was like, whoa, maybe I can't stand up. So, but anyway, that was a long time ago. Like I said, I was probably 17 years old at the time. I think I was still in school, But anyway, that's enough. This is getting long. I ramble quite a bit. If you're younger than me, and some of you are older than me, but take this seriously, okay? I joke around sometimes, I play around, but take it seriously. I texted Michael Zuber just yesterday and asked him how old was he 50 yet? And he said, almost. And I said, have you had a colonoscopy? And he said, no. And I said, get one. He didn't reply to me. A lot of people are still, they don't want to do it. They're hesitant maybe, or they don't want to talk about it. Maybe he has one scheduled and doesn't want to tell me. They don't want to talk about it. But think about getting one done. If you're in your 40s, talk to your doctor about it. All right? Because Chadwick Bosman, I think he was 42 years old. All right? It's happening to people younger and younger. My cousin, who's a real estate agent down here, his daughter was a teacher. And I came down and visited him in 2020, I think it was. And when I visited him, he told me his daughter, she's a school teacher, and she was out of school for the Christmas holiday. And she'd been having some issues or some pain, and she went to the doctor, and they diagnosed her with colon cancer. Christmas holidays. Teacher, middle school teacher, I think she was. And February, or March, late March, early April, after the Christmas holidays, late March, early April, she died. She was 50 years old, and she died. That quick. Okay, imagine your kid has a teacher, and they just, she never went back to school. After Christmas holidays, she never went back to school. And so being a kid, you'd be kind of, whoa, what happened to my teacher? So take care of yourself, all right? Take care of yourself. Minimize your intake of alcohol. Alcohol is a poison. All right, I know it might make you feel good. I know it might help relax you, but minimize or eliminate alcohol. Increase, in my humble opinion, I'm not a doctor, your consumption of tea. And you can get decaffeinated tea, you can do or herbal tea. This is green tea, it's caffeine in it. I'll drink my peppermint tea later today, probably. Exercise, just a bit. A bit more, perhaps, unless you're already an exercise fiend. Just try to, cardio is good. Cardio is good. I went to a chiropractor for a decade because I got scoliosis. And then I started doing yoga, and I cut out going to the chiropractor. But the chiropractor told me that all the years he had been a chiropractor, he met a lot of people who came to him because they hurt themselves lifting weights. And he said, it's a guy thing. They get stronger and they push, and he said they end up hurting themselves. And he was about my age. He had been a chiropractor for like 30 years. And he said he learned in life, because when he was younger, he lifted more. I lifted weights a lot when I was younger. I lifted them all the time when I was a police officer. I lifted weights. But he said that And I agree with this. Kind of like lifting weights is, yes, if you're a cop, you got to have your strength. And if you have certain jobs, you got to have your strength. But if you're most people, you need strength for your muscles and your bones. You don't need to be like big and bulky and strong like that. You need cardio is more important. Lungs, heart, those are the two important things. And then keeping yourself toned up, keeping your bones strong. You know, walking is good for your legs. Get some dumbbells, that sort of thing. Swim. You know, swimming is supposed to be good. And I'm a poor swimmer, so it's even better for me because it works me out. Gets me breathing hard. But anyway. It is what it is. It's getting long. I'm kind of bored today. I don't have my food to eat, so I'm kind of bored. So anyway, I guess I'll wrap this up. It's at 20 minutes. Maybe I'll get some viewing time. If you watch this whole thing, I will get some viewing time. I need subscribers. I need to get monetized. My money is extremely tight. My investment should pick up. But I'm sharing my information with you about everything for free. You don't have to pay me. But click the thumbs up and subscribe. And please encourage someone else to do the same thing, okay? Because that helps, as they say, the YouTube algorithm, and it'll help maybe before too many more years or decades pass by to get me monetized on this channel, so I don't have to keep doing this completely for free, okay? All right, so y'all take care, stay safe, try to look up the book Profiles in Canine Courage by A.L. Krugel, and you can check out more pictures of Serpico in there. Okay, all right, good enough. Mazske is signing out.